Question per John 14, 6 through 7. Let's stop and read John 14, 6 and 7 real quick so we understand his context. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. Okay, by the way, just an FYI for those who are interested, and I'm sure you're probably not, this is a rabbit trail for sure. Ben, the guy who did the rap music, who rapped and wrote the lyrics for our intro music, he is a purple belt, and his in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's one of my coaches. And he, when he got his purple belt, our professor had stitched onto his belt John 6:14 because it is his favorite verse. So now every time we see him on
14:6?
14:6, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, 14:6,
okay, cool.
Because that's his favorite verse. And so now every time we see him on the mat, there it is, John 14:6.
That's cool.
It is cool. Okay, so let's go back to Eric's initial question. He says, question is, per John 14:6 through 7, do non-Messianic Jews worship/serve the same God as Messianic Jews and Christians, even though they reject his son Yeshua as the Messiah, aka the way, the truth, and the life? How can those who believe in God, the Father, without God's Son, Yeshua, still claim access to him through prayer, worship, etc., without using the proper channel? That is, belief in Yeshua. Christians, Messianic Jews, and non-Messianic Jews alike all claim to worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But is it possible for non-Messianic Jews to worship the right God the wrong way? We talked about this several years ago, actually, and we got put in a lot of hot water for it. At least I did. I got a lot of responses. And the reason why was, at the time I said, no, the Jews do not worship the same God as Christians. And the reason why is because they are rejecting Yeshua. Now, since then, I will admit that I think I've rethought, and I would say that they are, because the people of God are, in other words, I got to say this correctly. Because the descendants of Jacob are the chosen line to carry on the covenants, there is something unique and special about Israel and the bloodline of the Jews. And that uniqueness is that they have been chosen to carry on the oracles of God. That is the uniqueness. And when we as Gentiles become covenant members, we become part of the remnant of Israel. Okay, so with all of that said, do non-believing Jews worship the same God? I will say that they think that they worship the same God, and they may even be addressing the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In other words, the Father is God, obviously, and I think that non-believing Israel, we have to be careful because the remnant of Israel still worships the same God that we do, right? Because they come in spirit and truth through the Son Yeshua, right? Non-believing Israel, however, they are attempting to worship the same God, but they don't have access to the Father. That is my belief. They have no access to the Father. So they can pray, they can sing, they can study, all they want. But until they realize that the only way to come to the Father is through Yeshua, they do not have access to the Father. Now, this doesn't mean that God can't work in the lives of anyone, right? God can work in the life of a atheist if he wants to, and he does every single day. The fact that every single human on earth is breathing air into their lungs is a miracle from God. So I'm not saying that God can't work in the lives of people who don't believe in him. However, does God hear the prayers of non-believing Israel? I would say the answer is no. He hears the prayers of the remnant of Israel who come to him through his son, Yeshua. That is my belief. Rob?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for sending that in, Eric. I love it. So I have a few things to say. One thing right on the heels of Caleb's last point here is praying at the Kotel, praying at the Western Wall, it does nothing for, you know what I mean? That's not a way to get your prayers heard. You know what I mean? Like in the Orthodox Jewish world, they will go pray at the Wailing Wall. They'll even write prayers on little slips of paper and tuck them between the stones. Same thing in ultra-Orthodox Hasidic dynasties, they'll go to the graves of, like Schneerson, for example. I think it's in Brooklyn. Is it in Brooklyn or Crown Heights or wherever Schneerson's burial place is? They'll go there and they pray there because they think that proximity to the grave of those they consider righteous somehow increases their connection, right? They got better internet service, to better Wi-Fi. And, you see that also in Catholicism, the idea of that, that you can, that one could pray to Mary, for example, because Mary has a higher Wi-Fi connection to Jesus. That, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. So it doesn't have to be in Judaism that we see this kind of weird idea of what a prayer, what is prayer, what is access to the Father, and stuff like that.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.